elbow here and we take our hand through. Another key detail here is when I drape my arm over, I'm not just like threading my arm through to make a grip or like put something on that side of his body. Whenever I drop my elbow on the other side of Ash's head, I'm using my elbow to bring myself into his body and his body into me. Okay, so what that's going to do is it's going to just give you better control of the position. Eventually, or a lot of the times, will give you a lot better route to the submission and finishing your opponent. Okay, so here, my elbows are in. I drape the arm through. And from here, guys, until I can get my hand locked, I want to keep my hand available to either grab the ankle, hip, the body, whatever. But to finish, all I want you guys to do, I don't want your back to hit the mat at all. I want you guys to lock your hands, and then it's going to seem like it'll feel kind of weird at first, but if you keep your knee and elbow tight enough, or if you keep your knee and elbow in the right position, and they're able to stay tight enough, you're not going to fall off your partner. Okay, so here, I'm just going to go straight to the side of my body. From here. Okay? And go into the finish. Alright, so the whole idea behind that is me keeping my body here and keeping enough pressure behind the elbow so when I drive it and I eventually get to where I can take his head towards his hips, that I have a decent head and arm control. Okay? So here, this goes over, come through, and when we sit, we don't sit to our back, okay, with our legs out way in front of us, extended, overextended here. We sit to the side of our body, and we want our elbow as far under his neck on that far side as we can get it, okay? So another thing that would help too, I see a lot, is elbow position. Whenever you drape it through, try to get your elbow as far under. That way when you go to sit back, you know it's not going to be as loose. Because the further your elbow is out, the more you sit back, the looser it's going to get. Or the more angles you have changing, automatically the position is going to be a little bit weaker. So we want to establish our elbow being super, super deep initially. That way when we do give ourselves a little bit of slack room to sit back. Okay? Because if I go here, I sit back and my elbow goes back now, I lose his head. As opposed to it being under his neck, me sitting back, and it just falling into a choking position here. Okay? So, from here, instead of using our knee behind the elbow to attack the front headlock, we're just going to look to set the hooks in, and slow our points here. Okay, so knee goes behind. From here, I'm just going to take what's called a seatbelt grip. Okay, this is going to be, how you grip can be preference. For me, I feel like personally it's stronger to take the choking arm and grab the non-choking arm. So, raise up for me, please. And the seatbelt, the choking arm is going to be the one on top of the shoulder. The non-choking arm is going to be the one under. Okay? So, over here, I like going choking arm to the non-choking arm to be able to pull this into the armpit a little bit better. And I feel like it gives me better position with my elbows as well. Okay? So you can go this way. Personally, I feel like this is weaker than this because I'm able to get my grip much higher into his armpit, making it harder for him to defend it with his hands. The lower it is, the easier it is for Ash to get inside. Okay? So right here. Okay, my knee is in, and from here, guys, all I'm going to do is I'm going to use my back knee to raise his butt up here, just enough to set my foot, or step my foot in between his feet. Okay? So, once my foot is in between his feet, I'm going to use that leg to pull his ankle towards me while I have the seat belt and sit to my hip. Okay? From here, I'm just going to straighten my bottom leg, bring my hook in, and from here I'm not going to look to throw the second hook in immediately because Ash and a lot of the people you'll roll with or compete against will do this or turn their hips over in a way to where it's going to make a little bit more difficult to get the hook in. So initially, when we go to break them down, I like going here. That way I can use this to climb and cut an angle to set the hook in. So you guys are practicing this. Practice this position here. Okay, it's just like it's almost like a closed guard around one side of their body while you're on their back. So it's here and using it to climb your hooks in instead of just going straight into both hooks. I think it's overall better for control and lead to a lot more success. So one more time. So use the knee behind the elbow. We go non-choking arm. So I'm grabbing my choking arm, I'm pulling it as tight across his upper body as I can into his armpit. That way his hands can't defend my hands. And then if they're way back, if their butt's on their heels, I'm going to use my knee and kind of use it to pull him up off of that, just enough to create space to get my foot in. When I get my foot in, I'm just going to pull the leg to me and go to that hip. Okay. Here, straighten. To get to the back. Any questions? Can you see it again?